I basically started back in the dark ages of the internet in 2010 with my first brand, which is Living Well, Spending Less. And started out as like classic mommy blogger, which I guess is kind of precursor to what influencing is now. During my life, I had two little kids at home who are now teenagers. It took me about 3 years to like actually figure out how to do it, right? Because at the time there were no courses about blogging. There was nothing. Nobody was like really talking about the business side of online marketing or content marketing, as we now call it now. And, it was just a totally different thing. So I would Google, how do you make money from a blog, and started trying to do all the things, and eventually figured it out, and at least figured out how to make enough money that my husband could quit his job. And he quit in 2013. And then I've just kind of been building ever since. But as soon as that happened, as soon as he was able to quit his job, then I had all these people asking me, like, what are you doing? Like, how did you do this? And what it like, I want to do this. And so I had readers asking me, I had friends asking me. And that's when I decided to write a book called How to Blog for Profit Without Selling Your Soul, which never thought about like teaching any of this stuff. I just kind of was like, well, I'll just write it down in a book and then I can hand it to people when they have questions. So that's what I did. And amazingly enough, there were a lot of people interested because, again, there wasn't a lot out there at that time. And the book ended up going to number 2 on Amazon, like the day it came out. And so then that just kind of started the next thing, which was that, people were asking how to do this. So yeah, people were still asking, right? It didn't answer all the questions. All of a sudden they had more questions, and I realized that I needed to create something more. So I ended up launching my second brand, which was Elite Blog Academy, to basically give people a step-by-step process for how to create a blog, an online business, right? A blog-based business, and kind of go from there. And so then that kind of became the second thing. And I was doing both of those for a long time, and things were going gangbusters. And then for some reason, I decided that I needed something to tie them both together. So I started another brand called Do It Scared, and wrote a book called Do It Scared, was really into that for a while. And then, I kind of came to almost like a breaking point with all these different things that I had going on back in 2019. And, I'd grown my team, my business just grew and grew and grew so fast. And my team was up to like 40 people. And it was just so much and so overwhelming. And I was so burnt out right about the time my book, Do It Scared, came out. And almost had kind of this, like, I don't even know what it was, like a come to Jesus moment where I realized this was not what I wanted. And something had to change. And so I ended up cutting my team in half, and then cut it down even more from there, and made some drastic changes, developed a whole new business model for all of our brands that simplified everything a lot more, and kind of just retreated a lot. But sort of at the same time, I was also struggling with my own kind of health and weight issues, and had, not really shared that publicly. Obviously, like that's kind of a very personal thing, is when you're out in front of people and yet you're gaining weight and you feel uncomfortable in your own skin and don't really want to be like on camera and all this stuff, right? It was just kind of this ongoing thing. And so COVID again made it very easy to just start hiding and gain more weight. And finally got to a point with that, and where I was like, something has to give. And I don't know why it had never really occurred to me in my personal life to not do what I do for business and for all these other courses that I've created for Living Well, Spending Less, with time management and home systems, right? I'm really good at like taking all this information and breaking it down, but it never really occurred to me to do that with like health and weight loss. But I did. I started diving into the research and doing all this stuff just to kind of figure out what to do for myself, and ended up creating a whole system that I applied for myself, and ended up losing 40 pounds and and actually keeping it off, and was so much more like happy and vibrant and confident, and started showing up on social media again. And people, of course, like noticed this huge transformation and were like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You got to share what you're doing. And the teacher in me like couldn't not share it. So what do? I started another company about 18 months ago. I started another brand called Thinlicious, and we've been working on that. And so now I've had to, grow my team, but we've split into multiple teams. So Do It Scared is sort of on, I would say, on hiatus right now. Well, we're really focused on Living Well, Spending Less, Thinlicious, and Elite Blog Academy. So that's kind of how I started and how I got to here with all these things. Like Elite Blog Academy, traditionally we had done big launches for that. And, where for many years with Elite Blog Academy, we would only open the doors once a year. So it was a very big deal when the doors would open for Elite Blog Academy. It was this huge launch once a year, multi-million-dollar launches, and which are very exhilarating in the moment, but incredibly stressful, right? Because there's so much pressure on that 1 week. We had it both ways. We've had years where we've crushed our goals and like blown it out of the water. And then we had years that we planned on numbers and then they didn't happen. And those are hard years and those are hard. It's a hard moment, right? And you have to kind of like balance that out. And so that was sort of what made us want to move more towards an evergreen model. And we've done that in lots of different ways. I loved the video and I could see the concept of it, just the power of it in the video, and being a fan of funnels and evergreen and things like that. I thought it was really, really well done and I got excited about the potential for our team and for all of our brands. And so all my teams started going through it and implementing, and they've all gotten to various points in the process, but we've definitely seen some great results from it so far. So yeah, it's been amazing. Having been in the online space for as long as I have and gone through all the ups and downs and gone through all the waves, right? All the different waves of what people are doing and what's hot right now and all the things, is that number one, you need to do the things that energize you and don't drain you. You have to be strategic about doing the things that actually are interesting to you and feel like they are the right fit for you and for your brand. That's what I love about CSS, honestly, is because it's a great strategy, right? Like it's very cohesive. It's very much like put people in here and keep tweaking it, and it just simplifies things. And I think the more you can simplify too, because that frees you up to then be able to pursue the things that you are energized by. It frees you up to pursue the attraction strategies that lift you up, whether it's starting a podcast, whether it's going on TikTok, whatever it is that you want to do right now, or to try some new things. Then you know that you always have this way of getting people in and converting them.